Hey guys, this is Whyt Manga here to draw, a realistic manga face in 4 ways. So let's get started. For this tutorial, I'm going to use, as my model, I'm going to use one of my favorite characters to draw. Just flat out one of my favorite characters to draw, just because of the edginess he has, and he has this very grim, angry look all the time, almost all the time. And it's always fun. I always gather some enjoyment drawing characters like that. Is Mikhail from my comic Apple Black. For those of you who do not know, I'm the creator of Apple Black, and y'all can go check that out. I leave links to anything Apple Black in the comments below. Volume 1's available, there'll be a link to that, and you can read the first 3 chapters complete, with links to that. I have links to that and much more in the, in the about section below. So getting into this, I'm just going to be drawing, just regular manga faces, more grounded, not too, while when you look at it you will think of manga and anime and stuff like that, but it's gonna be a little more realistic than the average thing with huge eyes and stuff like that. So it's a little more grounded, a little more shonen, and maybe a little seinen, but more shonen than anything else. Starting off with the head here. I usually, all my drawings, I start with just basic shapes to help me figure out where things are going. When I draw that jaw, when I finish drawing that jaw, I know that once the jaw is done, the ear is right above it. And drawing characters like this, the camera is kind of not complete ants view, but it's almost like he's above you, looking down on you, or you're looking up to him, or at him, or whatever. And so I don't go too much with guidelines trying to let me know where the nose or the eye is. Most times I wing it, but I've winged it enough to where I kind of know where things go now. So I've drawn the eye, and before I put the other eye, I add the nose. Notice how the ear is below the eye and the eyebrows. I draw the nose. Since the character you're looking from below, make sure you show part of the nostrils. The eyes kind of it's almost like thinking perspective. Almost think of his head like a shape, and if from the angle where you are looking at it, it's almost like the eyes, the line of the eyes are going from upper right down to the lower left, but not too much. And you can see how it's almost from the side, so part of the nose kind of blocks the eye on the left. Keeping everything a little realistic here, so I'm shading just a little bit. And I have the shape of the head and the ear and the neck and stuff like that. I have like the basics down before I go in adding more details, and the details will be what I just added with the nose, eye, mouth, and all that stuff. And now I'm adding hair. He has like a little beanie going on, so I'm going to put that in. I always keep in mind that the beanie goes over his ear, as you'll see in a few seconds. He's kind of like one of those characters that very stern, so his I thought his eye size, not to give too much away, just give a dead feel. Just most villains in manga have those eyes, but not necessarily villains, because he's not a villain, but most stern characters, or either they're really stern or they're like extremely villainous, but that's not the case here. And so after all that's done, add the beanie and add just give more volume to the head, because I got the shape of the head. So you add the hair and you add the beanie and you're done. I always shade under the neck, just to show where show a little light source from above, and that's pretty much it. He has like some kind of gauge in his ears, and I've just added that. That is one down. And so that's like drawing characters from, again, this is one of those observational tutorials where you can actually be drawing with me, even though it's time-lapse a little bit. You can just pause and follow me as I draw. So it's one of those observational kind of tutorials that I post, and a lot of people tend to like them. So I'll continue to post more of these. So here is kind of like complete opposite of what we're doing with the first head. The first head was kind of like camera from like the lower right. Now we're going and this new head is kind of like upper left, and the right eye is kind of like almost joined with the eyebrows, while you can see the left eye a little more, so you can see the space between the eye and the eyebrows a whole lot more. Here you're not going to see the nostrils, because the nostrils will be kind of covered up, because you're looking from above now, not too high above, but high enough. And you add the mouth. He's a smoker, so I just threw that. I didn't put that the first time, but it is what it is. Again, I have the shape of the head to add volume to it. Just show the hairline and shade a little bit. And he has, I don't say beards. I forgot what it's called, but it's kind of like what Wolverine has or something like that. Anyways, again, this is like one of my favorite characters to draw, so I really love the eyebrows and how edgy the character. It's kind of like a release when I'm drawing this. Drawing this guy. It's like one of the easiest people for me to just relax and just draw. Again, put in his hairline, if you will, shading under, and I'll go add the Benny in a second. And I know the shape of the head, so the hair is kind of going to be, more than that. It's going to be bigger, so I'm going to have to add volume. It's kind of like, going to be bigger, and since he's wearing a Benny, that's even more volume than just the hair. So I go in, and that's like what I did there is just kind of like highlights. Some people don't do it, some people do. Some mangas don't put highlights in the hair, and it's all flat black. Some mangas do. It's not compulsory. I think it depends on style. So yeah, and I add the Benny. He usually has like a skull kind of ox or goat's kind of logo on the Benny, but I'm not gonna bother with that in this tutorial. So yeah, this is how I draw. This is how I draw. And he also has like some band-aids on his left shoulder. Well, his left shoulder. So that's, we're getting camera from we've gotten the camera from the lower right, upper left, and now we're kind of getting, you can call it a side view, but not completely. It's kind of like if you're looking from his side, but then you're taking the camera a little bit to, a little bit more behind him in a way, so it's almost 3/4, but from behind his head. And I get like the shape, and I always add the neck and the jawline. Add the neck and the jawline, and I always put the ear here. The ear would be higher than the eyebrow and the eye, unlike the first drawing. And add the nose, and just a little slash for the nostrils. And that's like his shoulder muscles and his shoulder, but I'm not going to focus too much on those. It's pretty basic, pretty straightforward. With the mouth, it's also going to be like a little gash, which I'll get to in a sec, kind of similar to the nostril here. And since it's kind of, the camera is not necessarily from below, but it's low enough to where you can see part of the nostril. The nostril is not going to be invisible. Here again is going to go over his ear just a little bit. So I erase. Don't be afraid to use the eraser. I use the eraser a lot if I need to, and add a little volume for his hair. And if he had short hair or like really or really low cut, then there wouldn't be any need to add volume. It's pretty obvious, but I just feel the need to say it just in case. And adding the hair at the back of the Benny, has the gauge on his ear. You wouldn't really see his eyeball. Depending on if he was looking back, then maybe you would have seen his eyeball. But in this case, it's kind of like looking forward a little bit, so you're not going to see too much of it. And I drew a little eyelash, just a little bit. Usually with guys, I don't draw too much eyelash. I kind of relax on the eyelash, unless I do it on purpose. Maybe it's a very feminine guy kind of character, and then I feel free to do that. So yeah, add a little shade under his jaw and stuff like that. A little smoke from the cigarette. You're not gonna see the cigarette. It's almost like even though from this angle it looks like a cigarette's coming out from his lower lip, but it's not. It's actually coming out from the other side, but we can't see that. We can't see it that well because of the camera angle. So those are things to keep in mind. Not that it looks awkward, but sometimes people may get when you're trying to figure out to draw it, it's a little tricky. So here, again, opposite. This is how I drew it. This is how I draw things from the. So this is opposite from what we just did. So even though it's from the side, it's a little. You can say it's a side view, but it has a little 3/4-ish vibe about it, and it's coming a little bit more from above. So here, we may still see a nostril, but not too much. You will see the other eyelash. Even though we won't see the eye, I like to put a little eyelash, and it kind of indicates that there's an eye there. Then here we'll see his left eye. So the right eye, all I do is I just add like a little dash for the like to indicate that there's an eye there, but I don't draw the eye. And you just add a little. So it's not complete. It's not a complete side view, but it's close to it. And honestly, when I draw a character, when I get to this point, it's like the hard part's honestly done. From here, you finish with the jawline. The ear is directly above. In this case, usually the tip of the ear is just slightly higher than the eyebrow, but we're coming from above. The camera's coming a little bit from above, not completely, but it's just enough to where you can say that the ear and the eyebrow, the height the ear is kind of a little bit lower, just a little bit. Again, draw the hairline, and then I go in and add a little volume, put in the beanie and add a little more volume. The earrings are not really earrings, kind of like gauges, and add a little volume for the hair, put a little shade here and there, and that's pretty much it for this character. And this is how I go about. There are some tutorials out there that go on with some step by step way, and that's not how I do it. And it's very difficult for me to teach in that way when I don't use the method myself. So basically, this is how I draw. With a lot of practice, and this is basically how I draw. So it's almost like you kind of have to follow me a little bit and do as I do. Just realized it kind of reminds me of Wolverine. Now I think about it. Anyways, you kind of have to just go with me a little bit in a way. And this is how I draw heads from these angles. For the first drawing, I decided to just add rain. I just thought it'd be interesting, and it's kind of like dashes. And since it's gonna be hit the top of his head, have like little splashes there, little dots, little circles, just to indicate that it's hitting the top of his head. Then not sweat, but the rain dripping, going down his face a little bit, just in case people are curious for. It almost feels like an extra tutorial just thrown in here. But I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just me narrating me drawing manga heads in a realistic style, in a real quick pace. Mikhail Barrow, in a quick pace, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You have to keep in mind that these videos, it's kind of practice makes perfect kind of thing, and there might be other tutorials out there that will go all the step by step. I just show you how I draw it, and hopefully you learn, hopefully you enjoy, and I just make the best of it. A lot of people request stuff like this, so I'm just gonna keep posting more stuff like this. For those of you curious about Apple Black, again, I'll leave links to Apple Black, and you can read it or buy Volume 1, which has 9 chapters, or test the waters and read the first 3 chapters free. Links to that below. On Saturday AM. What is Saturday AM? The links below. You can check out my Facebook, Twitter, DeviantArt. Don't forget to like this video. Leave a comment if you have any questions or requests. Again, like and favorite this video, and subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, you're gonna get more videos like this, contests, updates on the comics, behind the scenes in the comics, coloring tutorials, coloring videos, manga tools, etc. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the drawing, and there are more to come. This is Whyt Manga. We good? We good.